Hey YouTube, welcome back to another video. If you've ever wanted to add your own custom admin commands to your Roblox game, you're in the right spot. Today, I'm going to walk you through how to do it in 2024, and honestly, it's not as hard as it sounds. By the end of this video, you'll be able to set up and configure your own commands with ease. So let's dive in and give your game that special touch. Now that you're inside of your game, let's begin by setting up the structure for our admin commands. This will set us up for success in the future while we're programming it. Under Server Script Service, press the plus button, select Script, and let's name this Admin Commands. Now right next to the script, there's another plus button. Let's hit that. And let's add a module script. Let's name this Commands. Let's hit the plus button again, add another module script, and we'll name this Config. Now that you have your server script named Admin Commands, and then two module scripts inside of that named Commands and Config, we're all set to begin programming. Inside of your admin command script, you can go ahead and get rid of this print hello world. Now let's think about this logically. How do we want our admins to be able to send commands to the server? For this tutorial, we're going to be doing it via the Roblox chat API. Now that may sound scary, but it's actually pretty simple. Let me show you how to do that. First of all, we need to import the players for the game. So let's do that by typing local players equals game : get service, and then let's get the players service. And now that we've imported the players service, we can type in players.player added connect. Let's just connect this to a function, and we'll just take the variable for player, and inside of the player added function, let's go ahead and type in player.chatted, and let's connect this to another function. Let's pass over the variable message. And now we can see we have players.player added. So when a player is added and when a player chats, it's going to run this code here. So now what do we want to do? We want to be able to parse commands from the player and execute them on the server. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's begin by creating a function called onChat. This is going to take two arguments, player and message. And just so that this is safe, we're going to give this the type by pressing colon and typing in player. And as well for the message, we're going to give it the type of string. And before we start programming our onChat function, let's import some module scripts that we created prior. So we can import those by going local commands equals require script.commands. Let's import our config module script by doing the same. Local config equals require script.config. As you can see now, you should start to be getting a sense of why we created those in the first place. Let's go into our config and let's go ahead and get rid of everything. Let's type in return. And then we're going to return a table, and we're going to provide some variables. The first one we're going to provide is command underscore prefix. And let's make that a semicolon. Add a comma. And the next we're going to add is admin underscore list. And that's going to be a table. And this is where you provide your user IDs. For me, this is my user ID. Make sure to add your own for testing purposes, and you can just add a comma and add however many you would like. Now that your config is done and set up, you can close out of that. Going back into our admin commands, we're going to make an if statement. So if the message : sub, and we're going to want to get the first character of the first character. So this will provide us our first character, and if the command is set up properly, that will be the semicolon. So we're going to do equals config dot command prefix. And just for a sanity check, we're going to make sure that the length of the message is equal to 1 as well. And on top of that, we're going to make sure we create an isAdmin check for the player. Then we'll want to run this function. Now you may notice we don't have an isAdmin function, so let's go ahead and create that. Local function isAdmin, and we're going to give it a player variable with the type player. And to check it, it's pretty simple. We're just going to return table.find config.admin list, and we're going to pass it our player user ID. And the way this works is it's going to return a table instance, and we're just going to check this whether or not this equals nil. So this will pull all of the admin IDs from here. It'll shuffle through all of them, and it'll find out if the player that's trying to send the command is an admin, and if so, it'll return the number that's inside of this list here. And we're just checking to see if that number is nil. Now, if the number is nil, it will return false, so the player is not an admin. But if the number is positive and it is a number, it will return that number. So now we have that set up. We now have the isAdmin function set up properly. Now this is where things may get a little complicated, but please stick with me, it'll be worth it in the end. So we're going to create another function. We're going to name this parse command, and we're going to give this just a message string variable. And now we're going to do local command equals message match. To be honest with you, I have this string copy and pasted. I wouldn't blame me if you copy and pasted it. I have no idea what this does. This is just some regex editing, and basically it's going to do is it's going to take the message and it's just going to turn it into the string minus the prefix, which is exactly what we want to find out the command. So now we want to do a sanity check. So if command, then so if there is a command, then we're going to want to run the code, continue it. We're going to do local args equals, and then it's just going to be an empty table, and we'll fill this in later. So now let's do for word in command g match, and again it's one of these weird strings. It's just some more regex, %s and a plus. Do table dot insert args. It's going to insert into the args table the word. And now all this means is it's a space. So practically doing this would be the same, but I think with some translations and some languages, it's just best to use %S and a plus symbol. And so if there are args, we're going to return arguments. If there's not a command, we're just going to return nil. See, that wasn't that hard. That was probably the hardest part. Back in the onChat function, we're going to go ahead and create a new variable, local args equals parse command. And we're just going to pass it the message that the player sent. Now, if args, we're going to do another sanity check. Local command string equals table dot remove the first argument. Now, you may be a little confused why we're removing an argument. With the way this is set up, the first argument is always going to be the actual command string. So if it's a kill command, it's just going to provide the text, the string kill. And now that we're done with that, here's one more rather complicated thing, but I promise it will be worth it. Let's create a new function, and let's name it execute command. Let's give it a player with the type player, command string, type string, and arguments, the type of table, and the table type is going to be string. And we're going to do for command in pairs commands do, and don't worry, I'll explain this code once we're done writing it out. We're going to go if table.find command.names command string and args is equal to the length of args is equal to command.minimum args. Then if command dot on run player args, then right command run successfully. So now that we've read all that, let me explain it for you. So all this code is doing is it's getting a player, it's getting the command string, and it's getting an arguments table, and it's just going to be populated with string. This is going to have all of the arguments, it's just going to be a string value. Now what this function is doing is it's looping through all of the commands inside of our commands module script, which we'll set up in a bit. And it's checking if it finds the command .name, matching it with the command string. So if it is, let's say kill, and it's going to cross-reference it to command.names, and we're going to set that up. That's going to have it so that you can have multiple names for your commands, and it's actually pretty simple, so you can have like aliases for your commands. And so it's cross-referencing it, and it's checking if the length of args is equal to the minimum args for the command. If that is true, then it's going to run command.onRun. It's going to pass that function player and args, and then we're going to have this onRun function return true or false whether or not the command was run successfully. And if it does run successfully, we're going to print out command run successfully. Now, if you're not celebrating already, you should be, because we're done with the admin command script. Now we can actually begin writing our commands and making the game do things we want it to. Under admin commands, let's open up the commands module. Now what we're going to do is inside of here, we're going to type return and then a table. And inside of this table, we're going to provide it another table. Now this is going to be the command instance. So we're going to give this a couple variables. First one is going to be names equals, and then a table. We're going to do a kill command. So the only names that we really have for kill is kill, and well, let's do murder as well. And we'll also do one more. Let's just do subscribe, because that's what you should be doing right now. Another argument, the minimum args. And let's make that 1, because we want it to only have one argument. Don't forget a comma after the first variable. Another comma, new line. OnRun is equal to, and let's just do kill command. And now we're going to get a red underline. That's just because we don't have a kill command set up quite yet. So let's go ahead and do that. So above our return, let's go ahead and type in local function kill command. And let's pass that the runner and the args, which is just short for arguments if you haven't gotten that yet. And let's actually, just to make our lives a little bit easier, let's create a function, and we're going to name that kill player. And we're just going to pass that a player. And this is really simple. We're just going to give it some sanity checks. First, we're going to check if player.character and player.character will find first child humanoid, then player.character humanoid health is equal to 0. And all that's doing is it's checking if there is a player's character. So if the player is spawned in and has his character, then we're going to find the humanoid. If there is a humanoid, then we're going to set that humanoid's health to 0. Now let's write out the actual kill command so we can process who the admin actually wants to kill. So now let's start filling out the kill command function. Let's begin by creating a variable, local target equals players find first child args 1. Let's go ahead and import the players again. Local players equals game get service players. So now let's do a sanity check. If target, then kill player target, and then let's return true. We also want to go down here, and where it says player.chatted, we just want to type in onChat, pass in the player and the message. Now with all that, we can go ahead and start testing out our commands. Now you'll see, if we type in kill development, it doesn't kill us. And I don't know why that is. Let me go ahead and do some debugging and figure it out, and I'll be back. Guys, so figure out the problem was, in the onChat function, when we check if the message sub first letter is equal to command prefix and the length of the message is equal to 1, we don't want it to be equal to 1, we want it to be greater than 1 to check if there are arguments for the command. And with that fixed, simple as it was, we should now be able to run our admin commands. Let's go ahead and test it out. Type in kill development. You can see I died. Down here at the bottom, we see command run successfully. Now let's try with our other aliases. Let's try murder, Clem development. And just like that, I also died. Let's do one more. Subscribe, Clem development. And just like that, we can see that all of our aliases work. And that's it. Now you've got the tools to create your own custom admin commands in Roblox and really make your game stand out. If you found this helpful, be sure to drop a like, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button for more tutorials like this one. Feel free to leave any questions and ideas down in the comments. I'm always looking at them. Alright, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.